The crackpot has cracked it again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Lidia Thorpe is off her meds and she went completely loco today in front of the King of England. How effing embarrassing. I am so embarrassed for our country that we would put someone like her, that we would allow someone like her to be in the vicinity of the King and the Queen. These two elderly people who are the sovereigns of this nation, who are the monarchs, who deserve respect, they're literally the King and Queen of England, and we allow her to be out roaming the streets on a day like this. She should have been locked up. She should have been locked up for the entirety of his visit because she can't be trusted when anyone of note is around. Look at what happened today.
Give us our land back. Give us what you stole from us. Our bones, our skulls, our babies, our people. You destroyed our land. Give us a treaty. We want a treaty in this country. You are a genocide. This is not your land. This is not your land. You are not my kids. You are not our kids.
Absolutely humiliating. Now, the rest of the world already thinks we're a bunch of uneducated bogans. This isn't helping our cause. My question is, how was she allowed into this area? How was she allowed into this event that the King and Queen were at? Why was she allowed to walk down there, walk down the aisle, screaming and yelling like a banshee, and not have any security tackle her to the ground? If that were anyone else, imagine if it was like a man, an Arab man or something, everyone would be onto them. The AFP, the army, they would be obliterated. But because it's Lidia Thorpe, oh no, everyone hands off. She gets pride of place. She gets special treatment. And I am so sick of it. This has happened so many times. She's a professional pest. She doesn't contribute anything to our nation. She's allowed to be in the parliament for God knows what reason. She truly has violent tendencies. She's not all there in her brain. She has these crazy tantrums and outbursts. She's mentally unstable. And yet, despite all of this, all of the ruckus she has caused, all of the money she has cost our government and police force, in cleaning up the mess that she leaves, we still allow her to be in parliament. We pay her a very nice wage. And how does she act? Like an actual lunatic. There needs to be some sort of standard for our parliamentarians, and she doesn't fit it. And I know why they allow it. We all know why they allow it. Because if they didn't allow it, we would all be called racists. The only reason she's allowed to run around this country acting the way she does and commanding the attention she does and not have to deal with any consequences for it is because she is Indigenous. Now, I say Indigenous because she's not even fully Indigenous. Her father is Irish and English. But yes, she conveniently ignores that part of her heritage. This woman is a textbook narcissist. She makes everything about her. She makes every event about her. She wants the spotlight to be on her all the time. She will go to any length to get media coverage. She throws paint. She becomes violent. She rolls around in mud. She's a total disgusting delinquent. But she has absolutely no dignity. She will set herself on fire as long as she gets those cameras in her face, as long as she gets the front page of the news. She's a narcissist. She doesn't listen to anyone else's opinions. She thinks she is right and everyone else is wrong. And that's why no one likes her. She thinks she's this maverick, this groundbreaking politician. She's actually achieved nothing. She's doing nothing with her life, and the only thing she's doing is creating a massive mess and inconveniencing a lot of people. She wants a treaty. She's made that very clear. 1, Australia voted against it, so she needs to let it go. 2, if she's that passionate about it, go through the normal processes. Then maybe someone will take you seriously. But screaming and throwing tantrums is going to get you nowhere, Lidia. It's just going to make people against you, and it's going to make your cause go backwards. But she doesn't care. I think she knows that she's doing nothing to progress her cause, but she truly doesn't care because she values her own self-importance and her own image and publicity above anything else. So let's see what she yelled. Whilst walking down that aisle, she was yelling, "You are not my king." Actually, he is your king because you live in Australia. As much as you like to deny it, you do live in Australia and you represent Australia in the parliament. That, as a default, makes him your king. So get over it. She accused him of genocide. Maybe she should learn a little bit of history and realize that the UK was actually a massive contributor to ending genocide and colonialism. And she also said to be sovereign, you have to be of the land. He is not of this land. And she also started screaming about a treaty. She wants a treaty. I want a treaty. We get it. You want a treaty. The rest of Australia doesn't. So maybe move to an island where you can live by yourself and have a treaty there. No one else wants it. And unfortunately, you live part of a society. So you kind of have to respect the decision of your fellow Australians. And then she said, we can lead that, we can do that, we can be a better country, but we cannot bow to the colonizer, whose ancestors he spoke about in there are responsible for mass murder and mass genocide. Does she not realize that the only reason she exists is because of the British? Does she not realize the only reason she has her job, has her lifestyle, has the money that she has any sort of power, is because of British colonialism and the democracy and the parliament, system of parliament and government that they brought to this country, and the technology and the building and everything that we have is because of the evil British colonizers. Now, I'm not going to say that no harm was done in the building of this country because that's a complete fallacy. Every single country of this world has gone through the process of colonization. And yes, it was a treacherous period for a lot of people, but that's happened with blacks, whites, Asians. It's happened to everyone. And that's just the reality of living in this world that we've created. But she's too thick to realize that everything that she has is actually owed to these terrible people. And she now has the audacity, with all of her privilege, to stand before the King of England and yell at him. Her literal father is from the UK. He has English and Irish blood, and he's the one who came out and accused her of being racist towards white people. Now, she needs to remember that she wouldn't be here living, breathing without that side of her. So she really needs to take stock. Sure, be really proud of your Aboriginal heritage. Go for it. But be productive in what you're saying. This woman needs to be expelled from Parliament. Her history, her actions have just, it's too much. It's gone too far. We have given her so much leeway. What about afterwards where she was in a tussle with police? If it was anyone else, again, I'm going to say it, if it was anyone else and they were literally fighting with police, and mind you, this is not the first time she's done this. She has a record of doing this. She's a disgusting human being. She has absolutely no shame. She thinks she's above the law. She thinks she's above everyone for God knows what reason. Maybe because she's Indigenous or maybe because she's a parliamentarian. She thinks she can go around and call the shots and make demands. No, Lydia, you are no better than anyone else. You don't get to scuffle with police. Like, for that, she needs to be charged. If that was anyone else, they would be charged. And I'm so sick of her being this untouchable person because of her half background. Everyone is sick of her, but no one can say anything because they're too scared. She's a bully. If anyone speaks out against her, she yells and screams and throws a tantrum. What does that remind you of? That reminds me of an 8-year-old bully in the schoolyard. The woman cannot regulate her own emotions. She's completely psychopathic, and for some reason, we're lapping it up. Politicians don't say anything. The police don't say anything. Judges don't say anything. Why, again, I'm going to say it, why is this woman untouchable? I'm so completely over this two-tiered system we have in this country. And people who are actually contributing are being treated like crap, while she, because she's the squeakiest wheel, gets all the attention. We need to stop this. She needs to go from Parliament. She has a list as long as my arm of things that she's done wrong, of crimes that she has committed. It's enough to get her expelled from Parliament, but why is no one doing anything? Get rid of her.